Hello and welcome to Akancha Against Harassment, your Cyber Safety 101 podcast. Today I have somebody very special with me, and it's really inspiring to see firebrand senior police officers, women police officers on this podcast, because I know a lot of young girls who are listening to this podcast have been asking me to bring in more guests from across the country. And here she is. Welcome, Shikha Goel, ma'am, Additional Commissioner of Police, Crime and Special Investigation Team, Hyderabad Police. Thank you for taking the time out, ma'am.
It's a pleasure, Akancha, to be talking to you.
And it's so impressive, your entire record. I was just reading, you've held so many key positions, including Inspector General, CID and CISF, and I'm really happy to be able to get this opportunity to talk to you. My first question to you is, tell us what really inspired you to get into IPS and what has been the highlight of your journey so far?
The Indian Police Service is a very challenging job. The best part is that it provides you an opportunity to help the people when they are in distress. As you know that nobody comes to the police unless and until they have had some problem. It's something similar to the medical profession. Unless and until you are not well, you wouldn't be going to a doctor. And similarly, you wouldn't come into the police unless and until something has happened to you. So in that kind of a situation, being able to help somebody is the biggest opportunity which this service provides, and that is what is the biggest motivation factor to be in this service. As far as the journey has been, it's been a roller coaster ride, almost 22 years down the line, and it had some really, really good experiences in various fields of policing. It has been an interesting journey.
Fantastic, ma'am. So, ma'am, as I mentioned to you, this is the Independence Month special which we are running right now. And I want to ask you the first question. A lot of women, ma'am, who come to me through my helpline, they're very scared to go to the police because they have this fear that if they file a police complaint, forget even filing a complaint, they feel that if they are seen entering a police station, they will get shamed by the society. And in my experience, most women do not file complaints because of this one fear. What would you advise, ma'am, to such victims?
Important for every victim is to know that it is essential to file a complaint before the police, because unless and until you gather that courage, you are letting the accused go scot-free. And that would something which would encourage him to again and again indulge in crime. So it is a huge responsibility on each of us to ensure that the person is brought to book. Now for that, it would be essential to give a report to the police. I would like to assure all the women who are, or not only the women, also the men who are listening to your podcast, is that the police now, the working of the police is very different and has changed over the years. We are now a much more people-friendly police, and therefore there should not be any hesitation or any reservation in approaching the police station. If I talk about the Hyderabad City Police, our police stations are just like corporate offices. You should visit some of them to see how well equipped they are, what the lovely ambience which they have, and also the behavior of our people. They have all been trained under soft skills and are very, very empathetic towards the victims and petitioners. And therefore, there is absolutely no need for a normal citizen to fear the police. We are friends of the public. We only expect the offenders and the antisocial elements to fear us.
Right, ma'am. And I must tell you that I have done a couple of workshops in Hyderabad. And in fact, my first workshop, which I ever did for this initiative was with an officer from Hyderabad. And I have seen the facilities, and you are absolutely right. I can, from first-hand experience, tell you that it was a pleasure and it was an absolute surprise that how relaxed the atmosphere and how it actually looked like an MNC. So I can definitely vouch for that. And ma'am, a small question. So a lot of girls, they also don't know. So from maybe you can guide them that Is it their right to ask for a lady officer to be present if they feel hesitant in sharing any details?
Usually, as far as victims of crime are concerned, especially if it is the cases of rape or if it's cases of violence against children, the law itself mandates the presence of women officers. And otherwise, also there are instructions that whenever a woman victim or a woman has to be examined, then preferably it has to be by a woman officer and or in the presence of any other woman. Which can even be a family member for that matter. So they can ask for a woman officer if they so feel uncomfortable. But I would like to tell the women that we have done a lot of gender sensitization training for our men officers, and you would really not find much problem talking to them when you go as a normal petitioner. Definitely, if you are a victim of crime or if something serious has happened, you would be handled by women officers.
Fantastic. And I'm going to come to a very, very specific question because I look at a lot of online harassment cases. And a lot of people, especially offenders, they believe that building fake profiles or anonymous profiles will help them get away. I feel like laughing because I work very closely with the Indian police and they have no idea that every single ID can be traced. So I would actually ask you to address that lot, that if anyone is even thinking of crossing the line, why they need to be very, very careful in today's time.
Our investigations in cybercrime is reached a different level now. So we are able to track down most of the things which happen online. Therefore, if anybody builds a fake ID and then tries to, harass somebody, they can be tracked down. And that is something which across the country which is being done. So it is no longer so much of anonymity which people thought it provides. If you indulge in crime, you will definitely be tracked.
How wonderful and very beautifully explained. Ma'am, before we wind up this Independence Month special, I want to ask you a question that funnily when I look around me and in my first degree of circle, I somehow don't see too many senior police officers. And I would like someone like you to please address the young generation and give them that one reason why they should be inspired to join this service and serve our beautiful country.
The police service offers you a great opportunity to serve the people. It is also a place where you can help the people in distress. And therefore, if you have that sense or that feeling of service towards the people, towards the downtrodden, towards people who are in any sort of suffering, then this is the place to be. A large number of times people come to us for whom we don't even have a solution to their problem. But just the fact that we give them a patient hearing brings so much of relief to them and reduces their stress. A smile on their face is what is the biggest reward which as a police officer you can get. So I would encourage youngsters to join the service and enjoy a life which is comfortable as well as which is challenging.
Very well said, ma'am. And I think this fact of police now being very empathetic and becoming more like counselors to the victim has been a huge change, which I have been observing. And I want to thank officers like you who are, helping us, protecting us 24/7. I want to ask you as a police officer, what is that one emotion which comes to you instantly and how would you describe serving this country in your position? What would you like to say, ma'am?
I would say, Bharat humko jaan se pyara hai, sabse pyara Gulistan hamara hai.
How wonderful and how beautifully said. And thank you very much for this, ma'am.
Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure.
And for everyone listening in, should you have any questions for Shikha ma'am, should you want to ask any specific questions about the policing system, about the processes, please send in an email to helloakanksha@gmail.com. That's HELLOAKANCHA@gmail.com. You can also tweet to me at AKANCHAS. Until then, stay safe, stay aware. Thank you.